Hello guys, Kobe here with another not so quick analysis. This time we are in South America, my region, and we will be talking about MOUZ. They are amazing team, and they did a full rebuilding this cycle to play the major. They give up the major points, and start from the bottom, and it pay off. They really have a all-star roster from South American players with Argentina, Uruguayan players, you know, it is amazing. Just to give an idea of how much maps they played and how far the dominance in South America was, they played a total of 108 maps. This is a lot of maps. They won 75 maps, so they have a great win rate during this timing. Another aspect from Novizeta is that this level of dominance at South America, the last time I really saw it was in 2020 with that boom roster, that have Phelps, that had the bolts, that would become MIBR. And since then, I didn't see any roster to be any closer to this level of play here in South America. So I'm pretty hyped about their performance during the major, expecting them to reach stage 2, to reach stage 3. And that's it. Let's talk about their Nuke because it is amazing map. It's not their main pick. Their main pick it is overpass, but they also play a lot of Nuke, and it's gonna show too. It's amazing. Starting with the profile, the way they play the map is that they have a multi AWP position. We see Mayor playing on the Heaven position. We see sometimes Mayor giving up the full aggro, the Yard position. He plays ramp position also. And the way they play this setup is that they focus on the A. They play this heavy defense on the A side with 3 players often. Often 3 players, DDT, House Peak, Max on the ramp, and then we have Lutov playing the outside position with Mary playing on the Heaven. So they kind of have 4 players on the A side of the map. But the thing about Mary is that he rotates. That's why we have another cycle here, because he comes from Heaven to ramp and helps Max play this region right here. Once again, reflecting the ramp play, because on the A side, on the ramp, they're the main 2 regions. The B side, mostly of the time, fully ignored. The things they're gonna do is gonna rotate from the back side of the ramp, to do disengage from here, to maybe go from the ducket position. But this is the fewer plays, the common way to play the map for them. It is don't have A side. By the way, they used this approach of have A side against MOUZ on the BLAST Rotterdam that they won against this map. They also played against Vitality. They lost this Vitality, but the MOUZ they won. And both maps going from the same approach, invest on the A side, make 3-4 plays, they stack on the A, and then play from there. Then develop the game from there. That is the interesting side of MOUZ, because they start on the A side and then develop the game, expand their way to play the map. Now, as I said, AWP Heaven, 3 players on the A side, with Mare playing Heaven, so a pseudo 4 players. They do this rotation to help the ramp, because as I said during the profile, the focus of the game, it is to protect A side. It is to protect your ramp. They ignore the B side. The downside of this kind of play is that you can see that the yard position, it is exposed. That's why you have Lukov playing this position, playing this rotation. So he rotates to the yard. The less frequently, because House Peak is playing from this part of the map, GGT is playing from this part of the map. So the job of going outside, the job of going exposed, it is from Luchov and also from Main, because Main, when he isn't rotating towards the ramp position of the game from the side ramp, covers this part of the map. Now for the AWP ramp, as I previously highlighted on the last position, Luchov, it is responsible for playing the outside position. That's why I have this circle right here, because you cover less frequently the other teams. Yes, less frequently, but still the same position. And once again, you can pay attention that it's very similar. The only difference in this position is that they swapped Mary from Max, that is the ramp. They keep the same idea of rotation, but the real thing here is that when they do this rotation also with Mary on the ramp, they play more aggro, because place for the contact, and then rotate in case the aggression fails, in case it doesn't find anyone. So you expect to be a more aggro and active position compared to the others. When Max is playing this part of the ramp alone, he stays more time. But with Mary, with the WP, it is so much of investment that they need to move it. The WP needs to be effective on the map. The WP needs to keep this constant pressure. And Avizeta plays very well, really like. Now for the WPA, a more aggressive position. Now we see that Luchov is starting on the garage position, in the secret position, to really cover the yard. Now he's responsible for the yard position because Mary, it is playing aggressive towards this quick position. So they needed to take this initiative on the outside, since there isn't anyone on the Heaven position. So the Heaven protection that is cutting this smoke that the T's usually do, let's just erase a few things and swap red. Like, the smoke wall here, make this smoke wall. So since they doesn't have anyone in the Heaven, you need to have the player in the garage. And Luchov is this player. Now for the Aggro Yard, just a side note, this position can be played with and without Mare. In the game against Fake to Biru, they played this position with him, with the Mare on the against Odiki on the 30 round of the OT, they played this position, and Fake to Biru, they played without him, on the Heaven position. The idea here, it is a more, exquisite position, as we may call like this. It is an exceptional position. It is a position that won't be seen a lot, but when they do, they invest on the aggression. So Luchov will play the aggro, will engage on the silo position. Mayer, when he is also here, he also engage on the silo position, so they play a more fast leaning play. And the reason why they're doing this, at least from what I perceive the motives, is that they want to close the map. They want to kick out the T's to not move on the yards. They want the T's to move towards the trophy position, towards the HUD position. That's why we see DGT is behind the HUD position, instead behind the box, instead behind the A main. So see that DGT, it is waiting for the T's that are kicking out from the yard due to Luchov plus Mary aggression. Waiting there. Max, same stuff. He is outside the radio position. So if the T's push, they will have the challenge. So you either return, you either commit for the push, and if they return, the next logical step of progression from the T side, and the most of the teams does, is to go on the hut. And when you have the hut, it is DGT waiting. Okay, so very interesting adaptation from the team. They are playing coordinate moves. They are waiting for the teams to be kicked out. And at least in South America, this worked very well. They made the games against Dick, they made against Sharks play in this way. Now about the counterplay. In the counterplay, well, as I really gave emphasis, they have the Heaven WP, they have the ramp control. So don't play like this. Why you be focused on this part of the map if you're the T side. So the first way, it is a yard attack. Most of the time, as we previously said, the yard exposed because you only have Luchov on the main or in the garage position if they do this rotation, and then Mayer in the Heaven. So smoke wall, move from behind the boxes, have one silo player, really like this silo player to keep pressure on the Coving if he is on the secret position, So if you're a silo, you get the information, you start to move the players on the smoke and reach this part of the map. That's why we swap colors, from the blue to the green. Because from the green, you have a few options. You can commit to the side towards the ducked position, or go up, or go B. If you go B, remember, they always play max on the ramp position, or even Mary if the WP it is Mary on the ramp. So this rotational player, so max, it is ready to connect on you, on the B side. If you commit to the A side, that's why we Now go for the pink color. They have the stack on the 3A. So the idea here is that you have one lurker on the squeak position with a smoke on the duct position. So in this setup, you still opens the possibility of going A and B. No. But remember, regardless of where you're gonna take this decision, you have a defense. Either by max, coming out from ramp towards the B side, or these 3 stack players on the A side. Or even how Supik can drop out duct during your smoke, during the T smoke, and meet you here. That's why we have a green color, because the green color is where we stop. After this point of the map, after the green, there is a point of no return. Either you split the attack on the B side, the pink color, or commit to the 8th row of duct. So see, you start on the yard, you get the information from the squeak, because you want to avoid doing all this control on the yard position. You just want to move. You doesn't want to stay. Maybe you get 1 kill from the Heaven, yes, but do you really want to try? Well, spend some shoots there and break the smoke with an 8, whatever. But spend the time on the yard, it is a dumb decision against Naviseta. You want to move. If you move, you're on the green. Green is good. Remember, usually on the color theory, I don't know, for the people that like color theory, I kind of like, because during the university I had to do a lot of maps, and we kind of have to study colors, because colors are natural indicators for people. You know, you kind of see red equals danger. It is a natural reaction for us human beings. Green equals good. So you reach the green, you are good. And that's what you want to do during the counterplay. And I forgot to include the subscribe. Sorry about that. But we are at 409. Just more 10 people subscribing for hit our goal of 500. So if you're new to the channel, remember to subscribe, like the video, write a comment. It is good for the algorithm to kind of remember, it's free after all. Please, guys, just say anything in the comments. I will reply. Don't know, ask for a map, share what team you like, share if you're okay, if you're healthy, if you're happy, if your football team won the last match, if you're supporting the greatest club in the world, Vasco da Gama. If you hate Vasco da Gama, I don't want to be your friend. But anyway, that's life. I know that I am talking about the South Americans, so rivalry here is a zero deal. Especially because my team is playing Sul-Americana and not Libertadores. We draw a game against I forgot, it is a Barraca Kuma something. It is a weird name, the team we just played. We played with a mix of subs and main players. And our coach didn't even travel to Argentina to play the match. You know, our coach stayed here in Brazil, Renato Gaúcho. Anyway, let's move to the T side. They played the trophy. The way they played it. Sorry, let's just rewind. The T profile, they have a clear setup. You know, they have a clear priority list on how to play the map and how to play this T side. The first, it is the Trouphy Control. We see a lot of times they're here just waiting with 2-3 players sometimes, depending on how they are playing. And then they use the yard as connector. And by this, I mean that they will pass the yard. Sorry about that. They will pass the yard and control this region. You know? So they're going to stay here for a little longer because the yard is utilized as a connector. So they engage on the A side by up yard or drop down in faster moves to connect on the B side. So for them, the yard is not just an aggression point, it is the main objective of the map when they are moving. Because when they're passive, they stay on the trophy. So trophy players, passive way to play. Yard, just moving. You either keep controlling on the top yard, you know, on the main yard of the game, on this top side of the A, or you drop down B. But either way, they're gonna be attacking the yard, both for the A and the B side. I will be talking about a yard A and a yard B play, and in both of them, it is very hard to find out where they're going because they always utilize the yard. I'm gonna show you right now. So for the yard A, sorry. As I said, one player on the trophy, one player silo, 3 passing during the smoke wall. And when they reach the secret, the garage positional, they have the option of going upside. So they're gonna pass, wait. So our player in the trophy will get the information, our player in the squeak will get the information if he tries the squeak. And then we're gonna see a combined attack from the A main and possible from the heaven position. This is a more whatever situation. If they have the space, if they won the duel against the player on the heaven, they will exploit their heaven. But if not, it is a main the approach of where they want to go. Okay, so they will go for this region. And the thing is that the same approach I was gonna show to you works for the B side. No, it is. And as I said during the profile of the yard, it is the connector. The yard it is where they decide to play. That's why it is hard to give the call like other teams. It is easier to recognize the pattern. Oh, controlling yard with 2-3 players, it is an A attack. Moving fast with more utility, it is a B attack. For Noviseta, not so much. So see, I just erased everything so you can compare the images, by the way. So just pay attention on where the players are. Extremely similar positions. There is even Mary. I didn't even swap when I was making the images. He's the same spot. Oh, sorry about that. See, doesn't move. And the reason why is this happening because of this control. They give so much importance to controlling the yard, to using in this formation that it's hard to make the call A or B. Now explain on how the B works. They will move fast, reach this region of the map, so they will conquer and doesn't stop. They won't stop in any checkpoints like I showed you in the counterplay that they like this green zone. No, they keep moving and they split. And the reason why they split it is because they value the ramp a lot as CTs, and this reflects the way they play the T. Now we also have one player dropping ducket, so they have the team right here with 3-4 plays depending on how it ends up this rush on the yard. Another player on the ducket from the smoke, and then attack the B side. But the thing is that sometimes I do think that this happened, by the way. This is just my theory of what happened in a few games, I'm not sure about if this really happened because the only people that knows what really happened are the players. But my theory is that sometimes they start and think, well, let's attack A side since the player formation is almost the same. But they doesn't catch any kill. And everyone's safe, 5v5. And they drop a B. They drop a B, they attack B. Or the main play, the Zac was, whoa, let's go B. But they catch this heaven kill, Sometimes Mary just is able to spend some shoot, maybe to take out the WP kill. And well, since you already dropped out the heaven player, let's go on the A side. Why not? So in my opinion, even the players aren't aware what they're gonna do. They may be calling on a B Zac and a Zac. And if it works, it works. Well, why not? Now for the Trouphy Control, this is a slower pace, 5 players on this region. So when they're playing this, and the most situations I saw, it was when they needed to break the game, There is that round that you need to stop, to think. And in these scenarios, to not play on the T-spawn, they choose the trophy. So the trophy is where they slow down. And after they slowing down the trophy, they have a few options. Ramp, that is the next play, by the way, it is a ramp attack. But also squeak and rush. So this play, that's why it doesn't have any utility, anything on the map. Because it is important to show the plays, the setups that teams do when they want to slow down the game. Because if you see the clock, maybe there's just the smoke wall here, you know, one, two smoke. They are on the trophy. And this for sure, they doesn't stopping anywhere else during the map. The point of unite, the reunion of the players, it is always trophy. So if you think that Naviseta is playing too slow, they're all together in the trophy. You either will make your rank player challenge them, maybe throw a Molotov, whatever, but be ready. The attack will become ramp or the A side. So buff 3 players on the A, remove your garage player, secret player if you are playing a setup like this. So remove him, make him rotate towards the ramp position, and having 2 and 3, or 3 and 2, whatever you want to play. But be ready for disconnection points. The attack won't be in the B side. I haven't saw any round. Maybe I lost a few rounds, just, and these specific rounds that I didn't pay attention, it was B, but on my, in the times I watched the demos, not a single B after this trophy is low, you know. There is also the possibility of losing something on the older demos, but I didn't see any B drop after trophy control. Now for the last play of the attack before the counter play, there is a ramp rush and a ramp attack. Luchovi on the yard position, as usually plays on the CT also. Fully controlled, only one smoke, no need to two smokes because they want to maximize the utility right here. They throw an open flash, a Molotov that is very important, by the way. This Molotov for me, it is underrated. Some teams that I watch, also demos, doesn't play this very often. They prefer to Molotov on the box. But the side Molotov, it is the better one, in my opinion. So they side Molotov, they flash on the middle, and engage in a fast attack on the ramp. This is an effective way to play the map. This is a simple way to play the map. There is no secret. There is no need to keep trying to innovate on the T side on the Nuke. Because on the Nuke, it is an old map. You know, you are playing South America teams. You screen a lot against them, so they kind of know what you want to do. And the ramp is perfect. Everything has fast play, and the fast play for Naviseta, it is the ramp. Now, how to counter this play? How to counter the way Naviseta plays? Well, as I said, they have a strong yard. They play as a strong connector on the yard to either keep the pressure on the A side or to drop down on the B side. So the first thing is also to keep a strong yard. Either way, on the yellow position, I choose one of these. I don't think that two players is really necessary, but you choose your place to do this. Either on the garage or either in secret. Secret in the garage or secret. Either way, you must have one player here. The second yellow player, it is the main player that is responsible for going on the ducket, controlling the squeak, and also on the outside position on the yard. So you have always two players at least on the yard. And then, that's just, I have to change the color. Didn't want to do this. I choose this purple because Naviseta Tudo Violeta, it is the same color from Naviseta, so I decided to swap the color. But I kind of forgot that I used the same color during here. But anyway, let's return for the white color. It is the Heaven. Because with the control on the yard, you also must keep the heavy control. And the heavy control for me, it is very crucial because it serves as a dual purpose of not just controlling the outside region, but also the ramp. Because the ramp, besides the yard, are the secondary route of attack. When they unite the players, it is on the ramp. When they're doing the 3-4 yard play on the yard B, the two players that remain are on the ramp. So for me, this side ramp combined with a last play on the ramp, not like Max plays. Oh, sorry about that. Max plays right here on this box. Max play more aggressive. I do think that against Naviseta, you should be playing the safer ramp player, you know, behind the box, a more passive approach. Even though they play fast, well, slow down your game. No need to keep doing crazy stuff. Let the crazy stuff happens to Novizeta. Let them make the mistakes. So play a more passive approach. And for the list, deduct rotation. Let's just erase everything. It is a mess with two colors. Here, it is deduct rotation. You should be rotating your players on this part of the map. You should be making these rotations because, as I said during this T profile, they play a lot of the yard control. They play a lot of this yard connector. So the duct player will be responsible for being the +1. So do you want to play 2A, one here, one here, the heaven, 3 players with other in the garage, 4 players with the ramp. So see, there are 2 players connecting, 2 players here. The last player, the 5th player, should be the one moving on the map, should be the one that is dropping duct, that is going for this off angle if they're going to be on the B side, Let's just holding this off angle from here. You should be this player. You pass it 30 seconds on the clock here. The Novizeta didn't engage as the T side. Well, duct, return to the A side. Maybe they're Trouphy Control. That is the common play. Oh, they're going for the rape. Well, you can react from here, from the door, You have all these lines to engage against them. So in my opinion, the 5th player should be a more active one, should be doing this rotation, should be on the duct moving. You can play 2 and 2, 2A, 2 ramp, maybe 1 garage and 1 ramp and the 2 inside the A side, but whatever. You must have 1 player very active on doing the map. Okay? And that's it. Thanks for watching. I do hope at least that you enjoyed this Violeta color that is the same from Novizeta. I decided because, it was the obelisk, they had the colors in the Argentina. I don't know if you saw this during the Twitter or other social media. Once again, Buenos Aires had the purple color on the obelisk. It is an extremely important monument for the Argentina people. And that's why I decided to, instead of doing the casual white pencil, to honor the South America. After all, I'm Brazilian. I like my region. I like South America a lot. So why not? So that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the content. See you soon. Bye bye.